Reese on the radio.
There must be some mistake. You're black?
Annoying Negro since 1969.
Reese on the radio. Whack FM.
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Oh, yeah. How we doing out there, all you scallywags? I think you know what time it is. It is time for the world's most hated, and you know better, it is time for the most racist online show in America. It's the Reese on the Radio Rundown with yours truly. Clap it up, damn it. Mr. Reese on the Radio. Hello, Carl. What's going on, Jefferoni? What's going on, everybody else? Of course, staring to the spinning cube of Reese on the radio. I kind of have to, I don't want to call it going after somebody. I don't want to call it that. I just want to bring attention to somebody. I'm giving him more credit by just mentioning him. I've got no beef with him. I've been going back and forth with him, which I'm hoping that he's checking out the show right now. Because I told him, just go to the website. You'll be listening. I'm going to mention him. It's a guy by the name of Brother Warren. Apparently, he's out of New Orleans. He appears to be an older gentleman. He called me a young buck. Great to see you too. He called me a young buck, and I'll tell you why he called me a young buck. I told him I was 53. He called me a baby. Now, I'm always concerned when men call grown men babies. I'm 53. Okay, I'm past the half-century mark. So when a grown man calls me a baby at 53, he's up there in years, right? And he's clearly making it known that he's up there in years. So knowing that gives me one indication. He's really tethered to the past. That I get. And there's nothing wrong with that. Exactly, Jeff. Like, what is he, 103? Anyway, so you know that a person is tethered to the past when they say that. But I already knew that ahead of time because his name, Brother Warren, has his own show on Blog Talk Radio. And I get these alerts from all of these random shows at Blog Talk Radio because I am a talk show follower, right? So yeah, trying to create superiority. Yes, good point there, Jeff. I like that analysis. But I immediately get it, right? You know, that's putting I've got more years on you, I know more, that sort of thing. Anyway, so Brother Warren, I get an alert for his show. I had listened to his show a couple of times, and he's got a running theme, right? He's got one trick up his sleeve, right? So he can only really verse on one topic. He can wax poetic on one thing. And as you could guess it, it's racism. It's racism, it's white folks. And if it isn't about racism and white folks, it's about black conservatives, which is, again, why he caught my attention in the first place. And he's got this terminology for we black conservatives. We are comfort dogs for white supremacists. Like, we go out there, the white folks trollop guys like me out there. And I come and I say, what you say, boss? What should I say? I should say what? I'm a conservative? Okay, boss. I is a conservative, and I believe in freedom. I believe in pro-life. And what else, boss? What else do I believe? What do we's believe? What do we's believe, boss? We believe in small's government. We believes in small governments. Yeah, like a trophy. We believes. So old brother Warren has got me pegged, right? He knows exactly what, I'm also a sellout. The white man is putting money in my pocket and telling me what to say. What you say, boss? You didn't put no money in my pocket? Oh, you put a check in my pocket. I apologize, boss. Please don't whip me. And so instead of actually debating his ideas, right? It's all about name calling. But see, there's something you need to know about Brother Warren. Brother Warren is obsessed. He is obsessed with white folks. And if you remember, I don't have the book in front of me, but Hate Without a Cause. I had Jam McNorton on the show. He and Jam literally reading from the same playbook. Now, you have to listen to Brother Warren, because I can't just describe him. You have to hear him for yourself. What Brother Warren is espousing here, like you hear his anger, and I know he's in pain. He's dealt a lot of years with this angst and this anger about white supremacy, white privilege, and white folks for a long time. And I said to him, brother, you're a victim. Without it, what would you be? And he responded back in an email, I kid you not. That's what you don't understand, brother. You and me are both victims. And I said, oh my God. I was saying that in jest. You're a victim, and without it, what would you be? And he said, you don't understand, brother. You and I are both victims. And then he texted me, he emailed me a link to a show where he calls, and I got to find it because I got to read it. I'll read you the actual email he sent to me, and I couldn't believe it. He sent it. In my head, I'm going, no, he didn't. He didn't send that. Yes, he did. Here's a link. The link to the show is called, You Might Learn from This Episode, titled, Yes, I Am a Victim, and I'll Say It Loud. I couldn't believe it. So like I said, without victimhood, who would these people be? Without the evil white man, who would they be? So here's Brother Warren. You can listen yourself.
They're going after references to slavery. They're going after classics by books like the late Richard Wright. This is the paranoia they're going through. But it won't work. It won't work, you racists. People are not going to sit back and let you play the fantasy that you're a superior white people and you must slam your fist down on the inferior black people and put them into place. I don't care how many black comfort dogs you put out front, how many of your black slaves and concubines you put out front to read your script that you wrote. It won't work because we will continue to resist like our ancestors have resisted. You see, we are the children of people who survived. That is, African people. We're the children of the people that had to endure the inhumane abuses that your fathers and grandmothers and great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers inflicted on our people. That we're going to survive. We're going to continue to push. We ain't going to let nobody turn us around.
I don't mean to sound so mean-spirited to the brother, but damn. Just damn. And I hear his pain. I truly do, folks. I truly hear his pain. he doesn't know anything about his ancestors. He knows nothing but victimhood, and he's comfortable in it because what else is he without it? And again, Christine, great point. Frederick Douglass turning over in his grave here, and he's got to be. He's got to be. He is so obsessed with a boogeyman, a made-up, nameless figure that is oppressing him. And he'll throw a name in it here, there, and the other ones. Yeah, exactly. He is a suffering person. Thank you, Fritz. He is. He's in pain. I get it. If it ain't Donald Trump, it's Ron DeSantis. If it ain't Ron DeSantis, it's me. I'm a comfort dog, as he calls me. What'd you say, boss? I'm sorry, boss. What? I is a comfort dog? I'm sorry. You want me to go lay on the foot of the bed for you? God bless him. God bless him. That poor man, he don't know. He don't know. No, he knows no one. Now, I invited him onto the show. I invited him on the show because I just wanted to have a dialogue with him, right? All I wanted to do is talk to find out where this pain is coming from. I'm trying to help a brother, right? I'm trying to understand because that's a pain. If he's an older gentleman, if he's like 60, 70, maybe 80 years old, he's dying with that pain. He's dying with that resent, right? He's dying with that animus. Why let him? Like, I don't feel like I should let him. I hear it and I feel awful. But he's so comfortable in his box. And again, you know, I'm going to get a lot of crap for this because I know my wife is not going to like the fact that I'm saying this. But Brother Warren is in an abusive relationship with racism. And he can't get out because the pain is all he knows. He's safe there. He can't leave it. Just like an abused wife can't leave her abusive husband. Because she doesn't see a future. She only sees the past. And it's all her fault. Deep down, Warren is angry because he's black. He is. He's angry because he's black. Why? Because if he weren't, the white man would love him. He's so obsessed about what the white man thinks and how the white man feels. He can't stop talking about the quote-unquote fictional white man whoever it is he's decided is white and racist. That's who is white and racist. And he's angry at them. Why can't you love me? Why won't you love me? If you listen to me, folks, you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to him.
They're going after references to slavery. They're going after classics by books like the late Richard Wright.
So what? Who cares that the white man's going after those books? Are they stopping you from reading it? Is there any place you can't pick up a book from Richard Wright? Is there anywhere you can't pick up a book by Alex Haley? Is there anywhere you can't pick up a book about racism, the 1619? Anywhere? No. So why is he obsessing about what the white man wants to get rid of? They can't. He knows they can't.
This is the paranoia they're going through.
Why do you care? Paranoia will destroy you. It's their paranoia. Why are you so concerned with their paranoia? It's theirs, not yours.
But it won't work. It won't work, you racist. People are not going to sit back and let you play the fantasy that you're a superior white people.
Okay. So they're not. How are you going to stop them from thinking that? If there are white people who think that they're superior, how are you going to stop them?
And you must slam your fist down on the inferior black people and put them into place. I don't care how many black comfort dogs you put out front. how many of your black slaves and concubines you put out front to read your script that you wrote. It won't work because we will continue to resist.
Resist what? There isn't a resistance for you to put up. Go to the library, go to Barnes and Nobles. There's an entire section dedicated to whatever book you want to pick up. In fact, they made sure that they put it at the front of Barnes and Noble so that you would not feel discriminated against. What world are you living in? People are changing the rules for you. I just watched Bill Maher, a clip from Bill Maher. The CBS writing studios for their sitcoms and television shows, they put in a DEI mandate that says 50% of their writing staff must be black, indigenous people of color. 50%. That is mandatory on every television show. What are you talking about? Resist what? The white man is literally paving the streets with gold for you.
Like our ancestors have resisted.
Oh, that's what it's about. You want to be like your ancestors who had to wait for the Emancipation Proclamation so they could be free. There was no, we didn't have a revolution. We had a civil war. And the North won, and the laws were changed. There was no revolution.
You see, we are the children of people who survived. That is, African people.
So survive, dude.
We're the children of the people that had to endure the inhumane abuses that your fathers and grandmothers and great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers inflicted on our people. That we're going to survive. We're going to continue to push. We ain't going to let nobody turn us around.
Turn you around from what? From what? And again, I feel awful for homeboy. I really do. But you hear him. Fritz says, who cares? White people don't feel that way. All lies by Democrats. And I know. Robert says, I read Richard Wright book in high school. Who's taking it away? I know exactly. No one is being chased by dogs or fire hoses, so why are these people going to act like that? Yes, well, again, he's not arguing about whether or not it's happening today. He's arguing about the fact that it happened before him. That's his argument. He claims that it's happening today. If anybody even thinks, and by the way, this episode that I'm airing he was talking about how they're trying to get rid of black history. Black people are doing that just fine, Brother Warren. Black people have stopped celebrating black history a long time ago. Just like they stopped celebrating Kwanzaa, just like they do shootouts on Martin Luther King parades and stuff like that. They've been doing that for a long time, dude. Young people have rejected Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., dude. They've rejected him. In fact, they just got rid of Frederick Douglass on plenty of statues. They've rejected every prolific and important African figure in our lifetime. They care more about LGBT Jussie Smollett than they care about Martin Luther King Jr. So I don't know whether or not you're hip to this or not. Maybe you're late. Maybe we young folks are just too brand new. But you might want to get into that. But just figure it out. I just want to play that. All right. Brother Warren, hopefully he'll come on the show. Maybe he'll be influenced. I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Okay, can I do something for a little bit? This one's going to be fun. This one's going to be fun. I promise. I want to set this up first so that everybody sees what I'm doing. Let me make sure that I get this correct here. There we go there, and there we go there. Okay, so I set this up just so other people can understand this. So you may have heard this whole story recently about what's her name? What's her face? Angela Bassett. The controversy between Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis. If you watch the 95th annual Academy Awards, you may have heard that Jamie Lee Curtis and Angela Bassett were both up for the Best Supporting Actress Academy Award, right? And many people are upset because Jamie Lee Curtis won over Angela Bassett. And many people believe that Angela Bassett deserved it more. Not because Angela Bassett is a better actress, not because Jamie Lee Curtis is a better actress. I don't even know how to make that argument because I would never compare them. They're just two different kinds of actresses. But they're both great. I like them both. I don't have a problem with either one. Angela Bassett, I think, is a very powerful actress. And Jamie Lee Curtis is very funny. And I think on a personal level, both of those women are very, I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, I'd have smashed. To be honest with you. Angela Bassett, definitely. She had those arms and she's kind of hot. She's feisty. Jamie Lee Curtis, back in the day, you know, True Lies notwithstanding, I'd have smashed. I don't know what little boy didn't watch True Lies in their 20s and just like, yo, what's up with Jamie Lee Curtis? They were feeling that. Now, I just want to give you the tale of the tape. Carl says, who cares? This is important, Carl. I just want to have a little fun. Hear me out. So here's the tale of the tape. This is Angela Bassett versus Jamie Lee Curtis. Now you'll notice that on Angela Bassett's side, I left nothing. And there's a reason for this. On Jamie Lee Curtis's side, I left a list. What is this list? For those of you listening on the podcast, I'll break it down what the list is and why it's important. Okay? Because it is. It's a very important list. Here it is. Jamie Lee Curtis was born on November 22nd, 1958. Angela Bassett was born just a couple of months earlier, same year, on August 16th, 1958. In fact, Angela Bassett's birthday is 2 days after mine, and she shares the same birthday, I believe, as Madonna. I could be wrong there. But August 16th, 1958, November 22nd, 1958 for Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, below there is a list of movies that Jamie Lee Curtis has been in since she starred in films. I did not put in the TV shows because that would have put her earlier. But I wanted to go in film career because, again, this is about the Academy Awards. If you notice that list, Halloween 1978. 2 years later, in 1980, she was in a film called The Fog, another horror film. The same year, she was in another horror film called Prom Night. All three of these films were really big horror films back in those years. She became the Scream Queen because of that. On that list in 1981 is a film called Escape from New York with Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken. Remember that? You don't know this, you might not remember this, but go look it up on YouTube because I had to. Jamie Lee Curtis is the narrator to the movie Escape from New York. She starts the movie off explaining the dialogue as to why Manhattan has become a prison island. And she is in the movie as the computer. Jamie Lee Curtis in that film. Big films so far, right? Of course, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, garbage. But nonetheless, she kept the franchise alive. Then in 1983, she's in Trading Places. In 88, and I skipped a lot of stuff there because a lot of those movies you won't remember. Perfect was actually a pretty hot movie with her and John Travolta, but it wasn't a hit. But she was in that movie Perfect. Anyway, A Fish Called Wanda, big movie, and Blue Steel. Because of that movie in 1991, many rappers were using the reference Blue Steel in their raps. So that's up to 1991. 1991. Here, Jamie Lee Curtis is starring in a slew of very popular films. In fact, that list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 films. All of this up to the year of 1991. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, I bring that up for this. In 1986, Angela Bassett was also in movies. Would you like to see the first movie she was in? I have it. But make sure you don't turn, because if you turn your head or blink, you might miss it.
Why is the department being so silent about this?
There she is. She's reporter number 4 in a film called FX. That's it. That's her right there. In 1986. Angela Bassett. Now, I'll go back to Jamie Lee Curtis. By 1986, Jamie Lee Curtis had starred in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films. 7 big films. Angela Bassett, first film, Reporter number 4. Okay. Well, I'm sure that you all know that Angela Bassett didn't stop there. She was in another movie after that. She was. And in 1991, the same year Blue Steel came out, Angela Bassett was in another huge blockbuster. But if you weren't watching, you might have missed her too.
I could do, okay? Breakfast, sir? Matt?
Please.
No.
That's the first.
That's right. That's Angela Bassett as a flight attendant in Kindergarten Cop in 1991. So now, just so I make this clear, just so I can make this clear, okay? Jamie Lee Curtis or Angela Bassett, who should win for Best Supporting Actress in a film, all things considered? Okay? Can we put this to rest now? Can we put this to rest? Please. Thank you. And congratulations to Jamie Lee Curtis. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. It sounds messed up. I'm just saying. Rama says, what's bit rolls got to do with it? Apparently nothing. Apparently nothing. But I just wanted to make sure that I got that out there. So, I mean, like I said, I had to come with the charts because I think it's unfair for people to make a big deal out of this. James Cramer. James Cramer now is finally revealing what they have on Joe Biden. This might be really, really good. It might be getting really good.
Newly subpoenaed financial records, stacks of documents dating back 14 years are now under review. The chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Cramer, out of Kentucky, is with me now. And, sir, good morning to you. Thank you for your time and for being here today. I want to try and clear up a few matters. You were on with Sean last night, okay? So you have received through Bank of America thousands of these records that go back 14 years. One of them includes an associate by the name of Rob Walker. And you said last night that 2 months after Joe Biden left the office of the vice president, so that's January, February, March of 2017, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Around that time, he received a $3 million wire from 2 people directly associated with the CCP in Beijing. What is that all about, sir? You made the claim. What did you discover?
Well, we discovered that they got a $3 million wire 2 months after Joe Biden left office. And then the very next day, from that account, that Walker account that appears to be a pass-through account, then they started wiring money to Biden family members, plural. And there were 3 different Biden family members that received a cut from that $3 million, including a new Biden family member that's never before been included in any of these investigations. So our question is, what exactly did they do to receive that money? What was the purpose of that $3 million wire? Now, that's just the first wire that we've actually been able to obtain bank records on. There are many, many more.
Okay, you put your finger on it there a second there, okay? You said, what were they doing in return for that money? Do you have an answer?
I do not. But, the media says, well, this is a Hunter Biden investigation. This is an investigation of Joe Biden. And we're investigating the Biden family. And again, after this new batch of information, it expands. There are more family members involved in this than just the president's son. And what they've said in the media, this was for business. We can't identify any business. It appears it went into their personal accounts. So if China's investing with the Bidens in a business, we can't find any business. They don't manufacture anything. They don't sell anything. They don't own any real estate. We don't know what the business is. My theory is it's influence peddling. And if so, then that's wrong. That's what we call a foreign agent. There are rules with who could be foreign agents, and you have to be registered to be foreign agent. So, the question is, what were the Bidens doing to receive these massive amounts of money from China? Now, we have the first wire, and we've traced it from China to the Biden family members. We have many more to obtain.
Okay.
So that's a really, really good point. Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't know. Someone was calling me. I tried to ignore it. Thank you for noticing, Carl. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but I think everybody here can totally understand. The Bidens do not sell anything. They don't do anything. Joe Biden's never worked a day in his life. He's never worked in the private sector. He's never owned anything to sell. But yet he's got home in he's got a home in Delaware, Rehoboth Beach. He's got a home. So this guy's got $1 million homes, but then again, he's only worked in the government sector, right? He's worked in the public sector, nothing private. Joe Biden's literally never, ever held a private sector job. So what the hell is he getting $3 million from the CCP from? Even if it's going through Hunter Biden, what is he doing, right? What's Hunter Biden doing? And when you get money going into your personal account, not a business account, and you can't even tell us what you're selling, for that matter, something's got to be wrong. Okay, well, obviously, there he is. Nice work if you can get it. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Let's go to the phones. What's going on, Fritzy?
Hey, what's up, Reese?
How are you?
How's it going?
Pretty good.
I want to give a shout out to Reese. A little bit of an applause.
Thank you. You can get an applause for that.
On Twitter. Oh, getting noisy.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Reese on the radio and the Freedom Fighters.
Thank you, sir.
You're one of them.
Absolutely.
We got I wondered there's like a thing going on there on the Biden and
Yes.
Hunter. I had to go in the bathroom because it's getting noisy.
No problem.
I just see this a money laundering scheme.
Okay, that's a great theory. That's a great
the
theory.
money laundering scheme. Don't you think it is?
Well,
because what did Biden do with all that money, and now it's just getting shipped back? That's
Good
what
point.
I think he actually did with it.
That's a good point.
Go
In
ahead,
other words,
Reese.
you're thinking that his lifestyle's being financed through all of these like oligarchs in Russia and through China, and then the money's being laundered back to said entity.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. I never heard anybody place it that
I have no
way.
doubt in my mind that this is what's going on.
Mhm.
But I mean, what?
Yeah, because what do they have to offer?
Why would there be money traveling back?
Right. And it was a good point. Here it is. Because see, again, I'll tell you why you make a fair argument here, Fritz, is because when Joe Biden gets the $3 million, he's out of office, right? He's not, in essence, he's a private citizen at that point. So he's got no real secrets to sell unless, of course, from the documents that we found at his establishment, he could be selling those. That's one thing. Or in your case, as a private citizen, he can't really sell influence into the public sector anymore because he's not in public office. But a money laundering scheme, in essence, they give that money to him for him to launder back. You launder it back to us in some sort of way through government entities is another thing that he could be doing. That's different from him actually selling access into public works, right? Because he can't sell the White House anymore. He's no longer president. Donald Trump is in there, and he'd probably steer the hell clear of the public sector while Trump is in office. So there's got to be something that he's getting for these millions of dollars at the time he's no longer in office, which is, again, it's a really, really good point. I never said, Carl says it's all in his Corvette.
I figured that the way they would get the money out of there is through Hunter Biden, but then when you really sit back and think about it, I mean, what is the U.S. we don't have an interest in that country in the first place.
That's true.
They make really nothing that could, help our country out. They don't make batteries.
Yeah, they make cheap
China
goods.
Makes batteries. They don't make anything that could actually make our lives better.
Right.
Why would we want to sink a ton of money into another country without taking it over? And what are they doing? I just don't understand it. It's just so.
That's a good point. No. I never really looked at it that way. It's a great. Listen to me. It's a great perspective. Again, money laundering seems like it's not like it isn't feasible. I mean, again, the guy's not in office, so what else could he possibly have to offer? It's a great point. I agree with you.
It's a lot of money to send overseas.
Yes,
in the
it
first
is.
place. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Millions and billions of dollars. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
and if use that money right now, I mean, you could go over there to New Britain and there's people on the sides of the roads with signs because they just can't make it, and they're probably on drugs and they probably just can't make it.
Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you, Fritz, man. I appreciate the call, man.
Talk to you later, Reese.
All right, buddy. You got it. All right, freedom fighters in the house. I love Fritzy. Fritzy's stone cold. Okay, so with that, let's move on to who's my next victim here. This is a great story. Fairfax schools are actually in trouble again. This is my favorite one, folks, because this is about politics in school. I didn't know this, but apparently, based upon who you are, where you are, and what you do for a living, this Fairfax County can determine what your political leanings are.
One father telling us, regardless of your politics, this question should make you furious. Under the liberal column, the multiple choice options are young white males, middle-aged urban lesbian, college-educated black male professional, white upper middle class suburban male.
Okay, so this was an AP class where the multiple choice questions were liberal. And then you had to base it on the list that Mike Emanuel just gave you. So here it is again. Listen very closely. You have to guess which one of these people would be a liberal.
They're telling us, regardless of your politics, this question should make you furious. Under the liberal column, the multiple choice options are young white males, middle-aged urban lesbian, college-educated black male professional, white upper middle class suburban male. Under the conservative column, the choices include East Coast Ivy League educated scientist, Southern male migrant laborer, Catholic Midwestern middle-aged male, West Coast Hispanic teacher, leading a Fairfax, Virginia dad with a background in politics to blast the school system.
And telling a student that certain people belong in a political philosophy because of who they are, what their gender is, what their race is. That's not following political trends. That's telling somebody that they should believe one certain set of beliefs because of their identity.
In a statement to Fox News, the school system says Fairfax County Public Schools accepts that an AP government test question designed to assess 12th graders' understanding of American political ideology did not meet the division's high expectations. The question will be removed from future tests, and a review of all AP government online campus test questions will be carried out. The College Board, the national organization that creates and oversees advanced placement programs, denounced the question, quote, "We did not and would not create a question like that for AP students. Neither the content nor the format of this question is appropriate for an AP exam. This is the latest embarrassment for one of the nation's largest school districts." Martha?
Remarkable. Mike, thank you very much. With that, we bring...
Yeah, John Beckman's right. He says, boy, talk about identity politics at its worst. And Carl says, middle-aged urban lesbian. I know, it's exact. That's the, Carl, you literally hear it, right? You heard it. Carl's been around me too much. Even his mom says, you've been around Ed too much. Carl, you nailed it. You nailed it. Middle-aged urban lesbian. It's like the person who wrote that was just like going, it's exactly what you expect from these people. They reveal so much about themselves when they write stupid things like this. Like how they see the world and their perspective is too funny. And that's what I love about watching these people flex themselves is just too hilarious. But yeah, that's that's what we got. Okay, this one is, I think we'll end with this one because this is our top story today. Folks, I don't know whether or not this is really, I don't know if this is really going across the spectrum or across the entire educational system. But, I'm sorry, Christine wrote, I'll ask my lesbian friend if she likes middle-aged urban lesbian. But, okay, so I don't know whether or not this is actually going across the whole country as far as the teachers' unions are concerned. But this is happening in Jericho, Long Island. If you're familiar with it, it's what's that first? Hempstead County. Hempstead County, Long Island is the closest to Queens County, Long Island. And this was the second part of a series that Project Veritas did at the Jericho School, and it's called Ed Camp, Education Camp. And this one particular teacher wants to make sure that these gender and sexuality classes are being taught very early. And she is in this seminar talking to grade school, junior high school, and high school teachers. And in this piece, she talks about the importance of getting at these children very early so that their lives, the teachers, their lives get easier as the kids go on in grades. We introduce this sexuality and gender stuff when they're young, and then it'll make it easier on them to infiltrate these children's minds when they get older. One teacher went so far as to say, hey, my kids are okay with it because in order for them to be on TikTok, in order to have a TikTok account, they have to put in their pronouns. So they're already used to it. This is a very important tell in what these teachers and what these businesses are injecting into the diaspora, if you will. But this Project Veritas, sans James O'Keefe, which still upsets me, but this is a pretty good video.
During Project Veritas' 5-month undercover investigation into EdCamp, culminating in the LGBT Teach session earlier this month, Long Island, New York emerged as an epicenter for using the classroom to promote gender ideology to children. Throughout the investigation, we had the chance to speak with some of the organizers themselves. Meet Alyssa Waters, a Spanish and social justice teacher who is also the founder of LGBTeach.org. Her mission states, quote, "Getting comfortable with discomfort is at the core of LGBT philosophy."
Being comfortable with discomfort.
I'm Alyssa Waters. I'm a middle school teacher at Jericho Middle School. I teach Spanish and social justice. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm also a social worker, and a lot of my practice is working with LGBTQ youth and their families. I particularly love working with families and helping them, practicing, affirmation through their children's journeys of sexuality and gender. Besides my plethora of queer flags that I have in my classroom. So I was told that in Connect language teachers are allowed to keep those flags up. But the Progress flag in particular was attacked, and that was especially concerning because the Progress flag, the goal behind it was to actually bring more inclusivity to a marginalized community. So by adding stripes for trans and gender nonconforming people as well as people of color.
Even on that, an elementary level educator, it's probably my favorite group to work with, working with staff and admin, because if we could actually do more of this conversation with elementary age kids, by the time they get to me in middle school or some of you in high school, we'll be in a better place. Because honestly, so many of the isms and obias surrounding gender and sexuality really have to do with gender.
Well, I guess it would be only a matter of time before we got another phone call on this one. Thank you for calling Reese on the radio. Who's this?
This is Christine.
Hello, Christine. How are you? Christine calling in on the show. Christine, is this your first time calling? Christine, is this your first time calling?
Well, first time calling this show.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so...
Well, let me just tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
The audience know, what this they're doing in Long Island, they do everywhere. It's immoral because you are leading kids down the slippery slope. Playing with a kid to change their gender is immoral. And once a minute, schools could get kids on medication without parents knowing it, then it becomes child abuse. And yet, none of these teachers in schools pay the price for this, Reese. It disgusts me. And this medicine's brutal. Take it from me. This has to stop. Social emotional learning, the DEI. This is the cancer of our country, Reese.
Oh no, trust me, Christine. You know I know. The thing that's scary about this is you heard this line that she says here about if we get to them young, it'll be a lot easier. Things will be a lot better. And again, what she believes is a brave new world. Right? You get them when they're young, and by the time they get to high school levels, they've been indoctrinated by then. The world would be at a better place because they'll go off into the world with this indoctrination, and again they've implanted this ideology into the kids. That she's pretty much admitting that this is an indoctrination project, and that's what they want. They don't care about anything else but their agenda.
Well, guess what? I'm going to be their thorn in their side as long as God gives me I could fortunate to wake up another day. I'm going to be a thorn against all these teachers and the leftist sides on this. Leave the kids alone. Take it from me on this.
Yeah, they don't. But I think that they know that the children are the most vulnerable. But Christine, let me ask you this: do you think that a large part of this? Do you think that a large part of this is that we've spent a lot of time in the past? I want to say 30, maybe 40 years. Putting a protective layer around teachers. I remember, and the reason why I asked this is, back in 2011, I was at Zuccotti Park for Occupy Wall Street. And I was in this debate with all of these people there at Occupy Wall Street, and I was talking about how the teachers' unions had a foothold on our kids, and it was detrimental to their learning because it became about indoctrination, not about learning or critical thinking. And the guy came up to me, and all the kids started yelling at me, and he says, "What are you doing? You're attacking teachers now?" And when I was in radio back in 2001 on the Star and Buck Wild show, I would talk about how this overzealous behavior to protect teachers while they were failing our kids was absolutely harming children. And I got attacked. You can't attack teachers. Teachers don't get paid enough to do what they do. And I'm like, teachers shouldn't get paid for failing. And I was always attacked. And there's been this protective layer of teachers that now that they feel like they're protected now, they pretty much can do whatever they want.
Oh, I mean, this is insane. I have a good friend of mine. She left the teaching profession because it was getting to be a woke indoctrination of the kids back then, about 2011, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. But everybody keeps asking me. In fact, Todd Feinberg asked me not too long ago. It's like, what do you think the agenda is? What do you think the end game is? And I wish I could say it was anarchy, but I think it's a little more. It's never as simple as one plan. I believe that there are plenty and multifaceted plans that they have. One is they believe that they're going to destroy masculinity in one way. I do believe that this is a concerted effort to destroy men, paternalism, any of that. I think that that's part of the huge plan in general, is to remove the patriarchy. Because I believe that they believe that that's judgmental or harmful to our society.
That's valid. Here's another thing I thought of. The World Economic Forum they're gung-ho on population reduction.
Yes.
And once you go on HRT for not even a year, even less than that, you're going to be chemically castrated or you'll be sterilized.
Yeah.
No matter mention. So this is population reduction too.
Yeah, wow, that's such a good point.
This is why it's being pushed on. I don't know why the kids are like the prime target. It's wrong. It has to stop.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate the call always.
Thank you.
All right. Christine's great. Yeah, John Beckman says the teachers are like paid pedophiles. I don't know. It looks touchy. Let me play a little bit more of this.
So when kids walk in the room on day one, what name do they go by? When they have them write a quick little narrative, and in the story write a third-person narrative about themselves, and see what pronouns they use to talk about themselves. And they're like, oh, but then we're going to lose so much time on curriculum. You never lose time on curriculum if you're doing what's best for kids. And the truth is that we know that kids are coming out at younger and younger ages, and gender is, sexuality as well, but especially looking at gender, we have kids as early as 2-3 years of age. Who knows if on Monday I'm going to come in and I'm going to be told to take down the flag, but I will do what Sarah did in Connecticut and not do so. Thank God for tenure, right?
According to New York state law, teachers achieve tenure usually after working 4 years, meaning they cannot be disciplined or terminated without due process for reasons other than failure to complete the requirements of their professional certificates.
And in New York, it's a very interesting thing here about tenure, is that in New York alone, it costs a little more than $1 million to fire one teacher because of the hoops that you have to go through the teachers union to get them fired. So the teacher will end up being removed from the class, but they'll sit in a rubber room like almost in perpetuity until you actually go through the process to get that teacher fired. And in most cases, they won't. The teachers union will protect that teacher to the ends of the earth, and to make sure that they're either reinstated or just reassigned. And I think somebody said to me not too long ago, somebody sent me an email the other day, I want to say it was Michael, who sent me an email and said, I guess they'll reassign the teachers like they did the priest in Boston. It's scary. What can you do? It's absolutely sad. They are being paid to babysit and teach. Fritz says it seems that way, but some like Chris can explain all of this. She knows what they are up to. Yeah, Christine does know. Absolutely. All right, folks. Anyway, with that, what happened? No? Do I not have music? I guess not. I don't have music. For some odd reason, my music's not playing. I wonder why that is. That's weird. Do I have an applause? No. My whole music is done. Wow. My button's not working. That sucks. I wonder why that is. Okay. Well, that's our show for tonight. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'm Reese on the radio. No, I'm not playing Slipknot. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow, because we hope to see you back here tomorrow too. Good night, everybody. And I can't even do the end credits.